Hi scrapbookers and family historians. So I'm going to be starting a new video series. I'll still be doing my scrapbooking videos, but I have been doing family history on Ancestry and just become very engrossed in it. And so I bought a few, well, okay, maybe a ton of old photos. And so I have this little shoebox full of them now. And what my goal is, and some of them I think I'm probably related to, others I think I'm probably not. So what I want to do in this video series is I will be selecting just some of the photographs, and then I will be going through them and seeing if we can kind of do some detective work. So let's just start with, let's just start with 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what I think I want to do is try to see if we can figure out who these people are. And then if we can, let's see if we can figure out if they have alive relatives. And then I'm not really sure from there what I'm going to be doing as far as whether I'm going to be reselling these photos on eBay after I have identified them, or if I'm related to them, I probably will be keeping them. I'm not sure. So this is a new little adventure for me. I know there's a lady out there who calls herself the photo detective, and so these photos in this bowl are people that I think what will happen is these are the people that I'm actually related to. And then I'll have to figure out something different for the people that I'm not related to. So that's where we are so far. And then this was the page that I just did yesterday, and I just wanted to show you I used this pocketed page system, and I changed the orientation a little. So we had like this is almost like an oval, so oval, 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 and I just thought that looked a little bit prettier, so I wanted to show you that. But let's start looking at these photos. And I was going to get something so I could hold these up closer to you. Hold on, let me just get a little platform. So I make these videos for scrapbooking generally. So if you're new to my channel, usually I'm talking about scrapbooking. But today I am going to be talking about these old photos. So let's just look at these. Maybe we went on a road trip this summer. This is one of my bins that I used in the car. This one was the food and water bin. But we're back and school starts tomorrow, so we'll be home. We're grounded for a while. Okay, so, or maybe let's see how many we can kind of fit here. And I know that a lot of times when photos come, antique photos that you can purchase, you're going to want to keep them together. But this lot that I bought was actually a random lot, so I'm not as worried about doing that. So I'm not thinking that these people are probably related. I'm thinking that they're probably just the common part of these photos, I think, are the fact that they are all about the same size. So let's go through them. So this one has 2 people, and this one is from, it says photo, it looks like it's in a different language. You see that? I should have looked. So I think photographiches Altier, it almost looks French to me. J.B. Filner Photography, Nacht, maybe it's German. It's either, I think it might be German. Oster, I want to say that's German. And then on the front, so no one has written the names, but those are what the 2 ladies look like. And so we will, what we're going to be doing is looking up the photographer to see if that will give us any clues. The next one, is a gentleman, and that was one of my kids. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see if everything's okay. Okay, I'm back and everything appears to be fine. We're just a little sad that school starts tomorrow. So here is a gentleman. He looks like he's in his 20s to me. And on the back, there's no, it doesn't look like there's a name, but it says Mrs. John Olson Photography Gallery, Washington Avenue in Minneapolis. So that is more familiar to me than this one. Anyways, okay. And so next up is, so we're going to call this one number 1. This one is number 1 with the 2 ladies. This one is number 2 with the guy from Minneapolis. This is number 3. She's got like it looks like a crown on, and she's got a book open. I would guess that's the Bible. And the back, this looks like it says a number, 27883, and then maybe the name Nell. Either that or it looks like the word hell, but I kind of doubt that it is what it is. It says Portrait and Landscape, J.W. Thomas, photographic artist, 45 George Street, Hastings, photographer. So that could be in England, or maybe it's in Massachusetts. And then there is some writing, and it says, oh, it's very difficult to read. It's like D-E-S-C-A-R-F, Moore. So somebody Moore was a gray like Isaac Young. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a gray means. It's G-R-E-Y. I'm not sure if that's the thing, but we'll find out. So she's number 3. We'll call her the gray lady. Number 4. 1, 2, 3. So she was number 3. Number 4 is a man who has a long face, and on the back there is a number but no name. This is from James A. Brush, photographer, Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here's another guy. This guy looks a little bit older. He's got a little bow tie, like a ribbon, looks like, in a mustache. And also from Minneapolis. So his is from John Olson, photographer, Minneapolis, Minnesota. There's also no name. You know what I think I'm going to do instead of using the 2 ladies? We'll do those another day. But let's see if we can keep it to men from Minneapolis or men from Minnesota. I think that might be a good way to group these guys. So unless she's from Minnesota, we're going to take her out. Mrs. Hitchcock, photographer, doesn't say where it is. This gentleman is from Columbus, Ohio. So I'm going to actually put those to the side. And this guy is, again, looks like from another country, not America. I think probably a German company or country. This also looks to be in another language. So I'm going to put her to the side. So let's find some more gentlemen from Minnesota. And I think that's going to be a great way to start. If we can just choose a location. So let's just go, so this is going to be Wisconsin. I'm not even looking at the fronts. Ohio. So I'm just going to discard those. I guess we'll look at the fronts in a second, but not all at once. Here's another Minnesota. Okay, that's a baby, but I'll take it anyways. Let's just take photos that are from Minnesota. That will be our grouping. Now my maiden name is Fenderson, and I know that some of the Fendersons moved out to Minnesota, and we have some, this is also Minnesota, woman. Okay. And so let's look at the fronts, because sometimes the pictures or the identifying marks will be on the back, and sometimes they'll be on the front, and sometimes not. Well, that one even has a name, but that's, so now I'm just looking on the fronts to see St. Paul. That's going to be Minnesota. Iowa. Let's skip Iowa. Let's just limit this search to Minnesota. Another Iowa. Another country, it looks like. Chicago. Okay. I'd like to get 10 to see if I can work with that many at once. John Ruford Christo. That's from, is that from Minnesota? Northfield, Minnesota. Okay, that's great. We have a name to go with that baby. Now here is Cephley. I don't know if that's Minnesota or not, so I'm going to just assume that it's not. Eau Claire. Eau Claire. Where is Eau Claire? Is that Wisconsin? I think it is. So we're going to put some more Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Another St. Paul. That's great. And Wheeling. I'm not sure where Wheeling is, but I can look that up, but I'm going to just wait for another time. Iowa. They were taking pictures back then out in the West, or the Midwest, I guess you would say. I don't know. I'm from New England, so I don't know a lot about that area of the world. I've never been to Minnesota. This one looks like from another country. Stockholm, Sweden, maybe? Iowa. Uddevalla. I don't know. That might be a Norwegian kind of a place. And maybe the Norwegians kind of make sense with the Minnesota photos, you know, because didn't a lot of like Norwegians go out that way? I think so. So I'm not completely destroying the order of the photos. I know that it's good to keep them in order if you can. But, okay, here's another Minnesota. This is Benson, Minnesota. So we're almost, I just need one more and then we're going to get started. And what I will do is I'll show you each of the cards, and then we'll go through and I'm going to see what I can find out about the people and or the, okay, here's another Minnesota, and this actually has a name, so that's, and there's 4 people, great. And I just kind of want to go, okay, here's another Minnesota. So I think we're going to do more than just 10. But I don't want to do probably too many more than that. Wisconsin, I think I could almost do another grouping of Wisconsin. Connecticut, Wisconsin, oops. Oh, sorry about that, dude. Syracuse, New York. CW. I'm not sure what that is. Kingston, CW. I can't think of what that would be. Wisconsin, Illinois. Okay, here's another Minnesota. Let's just get through the rest of this stack. And whoever else is from Minnesota will go in this grouping. Illinois. I promise this will get more interesting. So the way that I make my scrapbooking videos, if you're just tuning in and you're more of a family historian, is okay, here we go, St. Paul. I'm going to put that to the side. Is I will just press record and then start talking. So I don't normally have a big plan. Oh, see, I think I know that lady. I don't think she is not from Minnesota. Wisconsin. I think I'm into a totally different group. We get a lot of Wisconsin. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Okay, so these are the 13 photos that we're going to be working with. And so I'm just going to set the rest of the photos to the side. And let's see if I can arrange this so you can see it a little bit better. So we're going to have one odd lady out. So this is number 1, okay? This is gentleman number 1. He is from Loomis, and the photographer is Loomis, Stillwater, Minnesota. Great. Then number 2, we already saw him, Mrs. John Olson Photograph Gallery. So I wonder if women had were photographers back then. That'd be pretty cool. The next one is, well, let's just do all the men first. Maybe we'll do it like that. All the men and then all the women. And then put the couple up there. Okay. This way I can so what I'm just trying to do is give a little sense to this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've got 13. I'm starting with men. So man number 3 is James A. Brush from Minneapolis. So we've got mustache man, serious man, long-faced man, man with a mustache and a ribbon tie. Just so if you need to think about these later. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Then, and that was also, that photographer looked the same, John Olson. And so the next part of this video is I'm going to be on the computer and you'll be seeing a screencast. This is Schlotman Brothers from St. Paul, Minnesota. And then we have this family of 4 looking very serious. Alan Stanky. What a horrible name that is. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be called Stanky, but okay. In Jossville, Bust Single Old Folk. So I don't know what any of that means. It looks like it is from Minnesota. It's hard to see where in Minnesota it's from. It's H. Manderfeld, photographer. Okay, next up is a woman with a bun. So she's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's number 7. She is from the same Effie Loomis photographer, Stillwater, Minnesota. Okay. And then we have another Schlotman Brothers. So that's a different way to organize the photos. Probably a better way. And then we have Gil Martin in St. Paul. Most of these are not identified. A man and a woman. And I don't know. Gigi Grossfield, photographer in Rushmore, Minnesota. Now we have one that's called Mothers, maybe. And it says John Rufus, maybe, Chester, December 10th, 1864, aged 11 months. And that was photographed by Z. Roberts in Northfield, Minnesota. And next is Benson, Minnesota. I guess that's an A or an R. I don't know what letter that is. A. J. Hollyland? I don't know. In also dealer in furniture and frames, mats, albums, etc. in Benson, Minnesota. And last up is another by Loomis. And that was taken in Stillwater, Minnesota. So we're going to go ahead and do some research on these 13 photos, and I hope you stay tuned and watch. Okay, thanks.
Hi scrapbookers and family historians. I'm not forgetting about you. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and do the research portion of those photographs of the Minnesotans. I feel like I should go into a little accent, but I don't know it that well. So I'm going to go to Ancestry.com, where I have a subscription, and I don't have any family from Minnesota, but I know that some of my family, I'm from Maine and Massachusetts, but some of my Maine ancestors, some of their folks, like distant cousins, went out to Minnesota. So perhaps I'm related to some of these people, but they'll probably be cousins. So I could go to my family tree, but I'm actually not going to do that right now. Let's go to search all, And so what I had heard on the there's a podcast by Lisa Louise Cook, and she interviewed the photo detective, and she said you should get to know your photographers and know who they were. So, okay, the first one up, remember the guy with the mustache? Like the big old mustache, and he had a bow tie, but it was like tied like a bow. So he was from Loomis. The photographers were Loomis in Stillwater, Minnesota. So I could put in Loomis in Stillwater, Minnesota. Okay. And see if we figure it out that way. Otherwise, I'm probably going to do a Google search. So, let's see. Let's look at the photos, public member photos. So I'm in Ancestry. So there's James Loomis. I guess I should have put in like photographer, but I didn't do that. So there are some Loomis folk from, looks like Sweden, Norway, and Denmark out in Minnesota. So that makes sense, right? So let's go to, let me just make sure I'm still recording. I think I am. I just can't see it. Okay, that will be really sad if I'm not. I think that I am, though. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google and type in Loomis photographers in Stillwater, Minnesota in the, I'll just put 1800s. Okay. So here we go, and we found Directory of Minnesota Photographers. That looks like a great resource. And this is from the Minnesota Historical Society. Great, mnhs.org. And so I'm going to look under L for Loomis. That's by individual photographers, alphabetical by last name. So I'll click on L. Ladd, Lafferty, Lake. I want to go down to Loomis. I might need to go a while because it looks like there's a lot of LA names. A lot. I guess that's a popular name combination. Okay, now we're down into the L. I thought we were LO. LI. Either L is a popular letter for surnames in Minnesota, or there maybe just were a lot of photographers. And so it looks like just by glancing at some of these, it's going to show me what the address is, and then also the decades worked in Minnesota. So that, I like that idea. Okay, so here's Loomis. We've got a couple of Loomises. Okay, we have Art Loomis, Edward Loomis, Frank Loomis. So 3 Loomises. So my card does not show me exactly which Loomis, so let's look for the Stillwater. Okay, so this first one, Art Loomis, is in Virginia, Minnesota, so that's not it. Edward Loomis is in Minneapolis, and Frank Loomis, also known as F.E. Loomis, it had several different studios, Loomis in Cawthorn, Loomis in Loughborough, Stridborg and Loomis. He was in Chicago. He was in Stillwater, Minnesota. And his dates of operation were 1877 and 1882. That's very specific, right? That's great. And it also has notes that he was employed by Jonah A. Stridborg Stereographs. So what I want to do is kind of copy this whole bit, and then I'm just going to click on copy. And I'm going to go back to Ancestry.com. And this is, I kind of consider Ancestry.com like my my notepad. And so I'm going to edit that search. And what did we say his name was? Frank E. Loomis. That's who we're looking for. So Frank E. Loomis. Okay, great. And I'm going to press search. And now I like to just look at the family trees. I find like that's just a really easy way to find an individual on Ancestry. So we're connecting. Connecting. I feel like I need to fill up so here's a Frank Eugene Loomis, and it looks like, wow, he was born in 1891, died in 1973. That seems too late, because Frank worked in the 1870s, 1880s. So this might be his son, or somebody related to him, but that doesn't seem like the right Frank, does it? No, it doesn't. Let's keep looking. Frank. Well, weird. Alright, well, let's go back one. Okay, so we have Frank E. Loomis, and let's search Stillwater, Minnesota, 1882. So I'm going to just edit my search again. Frankie Loomis. Okay, the location is Stillwater, Minnesota, right? And then we want to see what the dates of operation. We'll just use 1882. 1882. And then in the keyword, I'm just going to write photographer and see if that helps at all. Searching. Okay, great. I'm going back to those public member trees that I find pretty easy to navigate. P.E. Loomis. Remember he was like F.E. Loomis? Maybe somebody got it wrong a little bit. Frank L. Loomis. We want a Frank E. Loomis. Frank Lorenzo. I don't see him. Frank, where are you? Alright, let's try this first one. Well, okay, we know he's not born in 1883. So these are out. Okay, well, if he was in business in the 1870s, then maybe he was in his 20s in the 1870s. So maybe he was born about 1850. So let's go back and edit our search again. And we're going to, I don't think he was born in Stillwater, Minnesota, was he? Let's take out where he was. So now we just have the year that maybe he was born and the word photographer in addition to his name. Okay, Francis Frank E. Loomis, April 1850. We have that a couple of times, so let's just go with the first one and see what we can see. See if there's any information. It doesn't seem like there's much. He was 10 years old in 1860. He was born in Massachusetts, which would make sense. I wish there was a little bit more information here, and I don't see that. So let's just go to the next family tree, because different family trees are going to have, this one has a lot more about Frank. So then we have him living in Maryland, and so I don't think that's our Frank. So we're going to go back. E. Frank Loomis. I don't think that's him, but let's just take a look anyways. Not a lot. Wow. This is, okay. Here's another one, another Frank E. Loomis. Okay, this is another one born in Massachusetts, but again, not a lot of information, so let's go back and just keep going down the line. Frank E. Loomis, and not a lot of information. Let's think about, I don't know. So that's good information there. I feel like maybe we can go back to Google and type in Frank E. Loomis, photographer, Stillwater, Minnesota. And why do I care about why am I looking up the photographers? Well, because it's going to give us some information about who he might be and then who he might have photographed. So here are some other people, and see, this is where it gets interesting, where other people have listed their photos on, like, this cabinet photo is not labeled, and there's no imprint, but maybe there are some where they are identified, or maybe if we look and say, oh, this guy looks a lot like my guy, we can start to figure out who these unidentified old folks are, right? Okay, so here's Effie Loomis. That's who we're talking about. This one's not labeled. This is the same photographer as the one that I have here. It appears to have been taken in the same studio at the same time as another one of his. Photographer Frank E. Loomis. Okay, so let's click on that. Oh, it's bringing us right back to where we were. That's funny. Okay, it's funny, but it's not like super funny. So it looks like a guy named Tim Anderson operates this page, and he can be found at Tim Anderson 284 on Ancestry. So what I might do is try to connect with him after I have. Wow, he's got a lot. So interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not excited. I'm not so excited about these Frank E. Loomises that I've been finding. I don't feel like I know. Oh, you know what I should do? I should look up Tim Anderson on Ancestry.com. I wonder if there's a. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Let's see if I can send him a note. See all messages. Okay. Create note. How do I? How do I make a collaborate? Okay. Message boards, member directory. Isn't there a way to send a note? Create a new folder, send. I don't know how to write somebody. Managing your messages. How to contact another member. That's what we want to know. Okay. Hello. I do need help. Do you need help? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. How to contact another member. How can I contact another member? First, go to your messages. Okay, but he didn't send me a message. Then you can type reply. Okay, that's great. Creating and sending new messages. You can also send a new message to users who have contacted you in the past. Well, that's not what I need to do. I want to find him. I'd like to find Tim Anderson. So let's. Tim Anderson is Tim Anderson 284. 284. So I'm just typing in my search. Nothing. I don't really know. I think I can probably email him later. But in the meantime, let's get Frank into my family tree. Even though he is not related to me, I'm not worried about that. That's fine. So how do I do that? Okay, that's a good question, because usually you have a little something to work with. And I don't really want to start a new tree. Even though he's not like really in my tree, I think it'll just be easier if I keep it all in one place. Let's see, maybe Frank Loomis died in Minnesota. Frank E. Loomis, Minnesota, and then let's have him dead around, I don't know. I don't even know. Photographer. Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh, I know what we could do. If they've got city directories, that might be a good idea. I'm going to assume he's a male because his name is Frank. So search. And now let's see about, there are like city directories somewhere in here. Here we go. U.S. city directories from 1821. Yep, to here we go. Okay, now we're cooking. Oops, here we go. So Frank E. Loomis, Minnesota photographer. Yes, we want him. Okay, so now that I have him, I want to save him to someone in my tree. Continue. And then I'm going to add this to a new person, Franklin E. Loomis, and I'm going to say he's a male and he's dead. I don't know where he was born or where he died, so I'm just going to save him. Oh, and there's one more thing I do, so I'm going to go in and edit, and under the suffix in all caps I'm going to write photographer. So I can remember what I want to do is keep all of my photographers in here so I can start to see some patterns. Okay, so we have him. He's in here, and I will attach this video to him. So I can do that later. There's a little thing here for add media, so I could either just do a link to this video, or I'm not going to record the video, but there might be a way to do that in there. So I'm kind of satisfied with that. Now the second thing I wanted to do is bring this information in. So I want to copy that information, and that's going to be from the Minnesota Historical Society.org. And so I'm just going to write add a story, and then I want to write my own story, so I'm going to say Frank E. Loomis, photographer, and then as a note I'm just going to write source mnhs.org, and then directory of photographers in Minnesota. Okay, and now I'm just going to paste what I copied. And so I've done my source, and that's probably not like genealogically, like I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to source this, but it's okay. I'll learn. Or somebody can tell me. So I'm going to just say 1880s. Okay. And I'm going to save that story. Great. And then the other person that I want to, the other thing I want to attach to that is this site. So this is Tim Anderson, and I am just going to copy his web address there, and I'm going to add media again, add a story. I'm going to write my own story, and then I'm going to say Tim Anderson's website with Loomis photographs, and then just do the link. Should be able to, yep, paste that. So that'll just paste me over there. Let me see if he has a home. Nope. I don't know how to like scoop his information. Anyways, it's over here, and that's fine. That's a good enough link. It'll get me back there if I need to. So I'm going to say again, that's Minnesota, and I'm going to put the date on that as the 1880s, and I will save that story. Woohoo! So we have finished number 1. Only 12 more to go. It won't. I think the next ones are going to be a little bit. They're going to be a little bit easier. So number 2 was our serious-looking young man, and it was Mrs. John Olson Photographic Gallery in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So let's look back at this site, this Minnesota Historical Society site. So we're going to go back up, and now we're going to click on O for Olson, and then scroll down. Okay, here we go. John Olson. Now why does it say Mrs. John Olson? I'm confused. Lewis Olson, E.S. Olson, Beatrice Olson, Okay, so she's got her Anna Olson. Okay, oh, here we go. Also known as Mrs. John H. Olson. And this is also known, I guess that's probably her maiden name there, Heigstedt. But I'm going to probably, even though I usually will use the woman's married name, I'm probably going to use, her maiden name, I'm probably going to use her married name. After John Olson died in 1881, Anna took over the business, selling ambrotypes and tintypes, and married, oh, that's not her maiden name, Andrew Hagstead. So that's like her second marriage, at which point he ran the business. So we're going to copy that information on Anna, and then we're going to go back over to Ancestry, and we're going to do the thing where what was her name? Anna G. Olson. Anna G. Olson. Olson with an O-L-E. And she's in Minnesota. Minnesota. Help if I spell that right. Okay. And we'll do photographer again. Good for you, Anna. Taking over the business after your husband died. That's smart. Right? Keep it going and then get the next husband to do it. That's really smart. Okay, so here's Anna Olson. Let's just see if she's going to fit the bill. There's no spouses listed for her. So I'm going to go back. Okay, spouse. It shows us who the spouse is. Who's her second husband? Is that Heigstedt? Is that his name? So I'm not seeing that here. Okay. Well, I have a different idea. Since that Andrew Heigstedt is, to me, kind of an unusual name, let's search him. Andrew, and then the last name is H-E-I-G-H. H-E-I-G-H. S-T-E. Is it D-T? Yeah. I'm not familiar. And we'll do Minnesota again. And come on down. And photographer's still in there, so great. Okay, we'll go to the public member trees. And all right, the first one is Andres, and he was born in 1858, so that could be right. There's no spouse. There is a child. There's not a lot of information about him. Here's a census, 1930 census. Let's see what that says. No details. What? Why can't I see that? Usually you can see it. That's not really satisfying me. So we're going to go back. And now, let's see. Okay. That's really the closest one. Let's look at Marvin, who's got a similar name. Maybe he's, no. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so, how did we do this again? So let's go back to the search, and let's search in let's search for John Olson. John H. Olson, and he is going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then he is a photographer. And what we're going to do, photographer, and we're going to look in the city directories again, because that's a business, and we're probably going to be able to find it that way. U.S. city directories. Okay, here we go. We're golden again. We can look at that image. Let's just take a look. Right? So here's Olson, O-L-E. Let's go up. John Olson, photographer. That's him. That's our man. This is funny. O.A. Prey. Oh, I know. That guy, O.A. Prey, Mill Furnishings. He has an engraving on eBay right now that was taken by The photograph was taken by the photographer, I think was Fenderson, who is related to me. Smut machines and flower packers. Smut machines and flower packers. That just sounds dirty. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so I'm going to save that to a person in my tree. I'm going to add a new person, and we're going to add John Olson. So he's going to be male. He's going to be dead. We're going to save him. Now we can, oh, and I always forget to write photographer. Yes. Save. Okay, back to John. So we can actually fill out a little bit of John's little family tree. So we're going to add this facts and or add media, add a story, and then I want to write a story. So we have John H. Olson, Minneapolis, Minnesota photographer. Okay, and now I'm going to say source mnhs.org, directory of photographers, right? And then I'm going to paste what I had copied earlier, all about Anna. But then let's go ahead and go back and scoop up John's. Oh, he was born in Norway. So he was born in Norway, and so we get a little bit of his information. How interesting. Photographer with W.H. Jacoby's gallery before starting his own business, and then she continued after his death. Okay, so now we have his date of birth, August 13th, 1850. Great. Go back here, plop that in. Lovely. And August 13th, 1850, so I just have to remind myself of that. It's really probably a good idea to, when you're doing genealogy, to keep a little notepad right next to you, but I'm not doing that. Sorry. I mean, I should be, but I'm not. So he was born August 13th, 1850. Okay. Oh, I'm going to add Anna. Oh, I don't have her in there yet. Okay, save the story. Now I'm going to edit 8/13/1850. Is that what we said? I don't. Oh, and he was born in Norway. Right? I think. All right. Save changes. Okay, returning to John. Lovely. Now we're going to add his spouse, and she is going to be Anna G. Anna G. Olson. That's not her maiden name, but that's what I have, so I'm going to use it. Right? And then I'm going to go back to this note here, and I am going to attach Anna to that note. Great, attach. And now the next thing I want to do is add in her husband. Where are you? Whoops, hold on. So, okay, Andrew, so let's look him up in this directory. So his last name started with an H. Oh, you know what else? We need to, after Anna's name, because she was rocking it back in the day. She was also a photographer, so she gets the little suffix there. Go Anna. I think that's so cool. Okay, so back to the Minnesota. We're gonna look for, is it like H-E-I? Andrew Heigstedt. Scrolling down, maybe a little bit faster. There's a lot of, okay, H-E-I is what we're looking for. Hess, Harrington, come on, H-E-I, and then it was G-H, I think. Yep, here we go, Andrew Heigstedt. Copy. Okay. So we'll go back to Anna, and then we're going to add a family member. We're going to add a spouse, and now I'm hopefully going to, let's look at his name again, Andrew W. Andrew W. I really want to get his name right. Heighstedt. Heighstedt. Okay, he's a male, he's deceased. And, oh, remember, he's a photographer. So I write that in so I remember. I'm not related to these people, but they are all photographers. And then under Andrew, I want to add the media, add a story, and write the story, and Andrew Heighstedt, photographer in Minnesota. And then I'll do my source, mnhs.org, and then I will paste what I found over there. Perfect. Minnesota, 1880s. Whoops. There we go. I'm going to add Anna to that. Anna, was she Anna O? No, Anna G. There she is. Okay. There we go. Perfect. And what's so cool about Ancestry.com is it's going to start to show me, there they are, there's the census. So now I can see exactly where they live, and looks like she was born in Sweden, and they had a child named Effie, like Effie, you know, in the Hunger Games. And so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time filling out his family tree, but it is nice to have some information about him. So let's go to card number 3, since we're still working with unidentified photos, okay? So I'm just trying to start to make sense of who the photographers are. So this Minnesota Historical Society is a really easy way to find. So then number 3 was our long-faced man, and he was photographed by James A. Brush. So here we are at the B's, and we're going to go kind of far down to get to Brush. There he is. Place of birth, Detroit, Michigan. And he was born on August 27th, 1846. Awesome. Perfecto. So this is getting kind of easier. I like that. So we're going to go back over here. Now that we have a little system, we're going to search the name, right? James. So if I was searching like a family member, I would really go to the family. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Search. Sometimes it will start to automatically put information in there based on your tree, and that's not what I want it to do. It's done it. It did it again. I'm not sure how to prevent that. Search all records. Okay. Last name, Brush. Hopefully that will prevent that from happening. Okay, James A. Brush, and then the location is going to be Minnesota. Okay, fantastic. Mail. Search. And then I'm going to go straight to those city directories again, because we were doing really well with those. I really hope this is still, there he is. So easy, right? Okay, let's just take a look at that. Brush. Brush, 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 brush. Brush your teeth. Brush, where is he? There he is, James Brush. James Brush, photographer. So that's definitely him. So we're going to save to a person in my tree, which I know I'm not related to him, or at least I don't know how I'm related to him yet. We're all related, right? One big family. Photographer. Male, deceased, save. Awesome. Okay, so we've got him in there. And now let's go to, let's do this one other thing. Let's do the copy and paste trick, just so I can remember more information about him. So I'm not really doing a deep dive on him right now, because if I really wanted to research him, you know, more, I can do that. But at this point, I just want to set up kind of a placeholder. So I'm going to go back to that add media, add a story, write a story, and his name is James Rush, photographer, Minnesota. Okay, and then the source is mnhs.org, photographers. One thing that I'm a little frustrated with Ancestry about, and I don't know if you can help me. If you can, please leave I'm going to put in his son Edmund. But how you can print things from Ancestry, I don't think it's a very good system. I'll put 1900s because we saw 1901. Okay. So his son is Edmund. So we're going to add a family member child, Edmund. And we know, whoops, we know that Edmund was also a photographer. So I'm going to type that in to the suffix. Photographer. Okay. Photographer. So we have now finished number 3. I know we have 13, but I think they're going to go a little bit quicker. Next up is John Olson, and so we already know all about him. And so I have one photo by his wife and one photo by him. And so I think what I may do is kind of scan those photos in and then put them into this guy's gallery. The next photo that I have is from Schlotman Brothers in St. Paul. So we'll go back over here and go to S. And again, this is not identified, so that's kind of sad. Okay, SCH. Schlotman Brothers. Let's see. I apologize if if you think sometimes I'm just a little goofy. So I don't mean to offend by pronouncing names funny. It just keeps me entertained. Okay, so Schlotman Brothers. So here's E.J. Schlotman. I also don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Then Henry, and that's it. So it looks like 2 brothers. And they were taught by Charles Zimmerman. So let's get the Schlotman Brothers in there. And I copied both of them. And go back over here. Do the search. And let's just type in that last name, Schlattman, and then Minnesota. Oops, I think I'm missing an N in Minnesota. Yep, and I'm going to do the keyword photographer, and we will search, and we're going to go right back to the city directories because that has been working nicely. Okay, so now we had EJ, so Edward J, that looks right. And we are he's a photographer, so perfect. We'll save that to the tree, add a new person, and that is, we want to switch him from living to dead, male, save. Oh, you know what I forgot? To add the photographer. Great. Save. Okay. And now I'm going to go to him and I'm going to add the brother first. And I think I'm going to add the dad just so I can add the brother because otherwise I don't think it'll let you add a sibling. So I just added the last name as the dad. And now I'm going to add the brother. And the brother's name is Henry F. Henry, oops, F, and I do want to remember to put in photographer. Great, and he's dead. Yep, perfect. Okay, now I can add in my media, and I can add the story. I write a story, and I'm just going to write Schlottman Brothers Photographers, Minnesota. Then source, mnhs.org. And now I'm going to paste. Sometimes you just have to do a little space to paste, or skip a line, or I don't know why. There we go. And Minnesota, 1891. Okay, add another person. And I'm just typing in the last name, and that's going to bring me to Henry. Yep, save. That should have saved to both of them. Let's just check that. So we're going to show the siblings, go to Henry, and yeah, it got in there. Great. Next, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're at number 6. That was the photo with the 4 people, and it was remember, Alder or Albert Stanky. I know I shouldn't make fun, but it's kind of funny. Okay, let's start with the photographer though. So the photographer is a Minnesota photographer, and it is, we're going to go to M. It's Manderfeld. It looks like H. Manderfeld. Manderfeld. M-A-N. It's amazing how many photographers there were back in the day, right? Hubert. That sounds right. All right. So we're going to copy this information and go back over to, we know this drill now, right? Go to search. We can do Manderfeld, Minnesota, and then we go down and write photographer, and then we will select male and search. Go down to the directories, the U.S. city directories, and we want Hubert. Hubert Manderfeld. I'm surprised he didn't come straight up. Oh, Hubert, where are you? How weird. Okay, let's just look at his bio again. He was succeeded by Lillian Yates. He was in, so let's just do New Painesville, 1896. So we're going to go back and edit the search. We're going to add an H for Hubert, or just add his whole name, Hubert. And then he lived in location. He lived in, let's take the last one, New Painesville. New Painesville, MN. And then his, it was the 1880s and the 1890s. Let's just do 1895. Year 1895. Okay. Okay, search. Come on. Okay, I don't see him. Well, this is a new problem. And see, that's why I like to do these recordings live and unprepared, because then you can see, and I do this in my scrapbooking videos, but then you can see exactly when I run into a problem and how I try to keep going. So now I'm going to go back, and instead of looking at the directories, let's do a new search, and I'm going to do Hubert Manderfeld, okay, in Minnesota, and I'm gonna search a family tree. which is typically how I start a search if I just have someone's name. Because usually somebody else has already done a lot of your legwork. Okay, so we have Hubert Manderfeld in Minnesota. His death was in 1882. Hubert was still working in the 1890s. So I don't think that's him. Okay, well, I don't think it's... Maybe I read that wrong. Okay, birth 1802, death 1882. Yeah, see, that seems wrong. But it seems more right than anything else I'm seeing. 1882 is the death again. Maybe it was still operating and somebody else was operating it and they just didn't put that in. Because that really seems like the right... I mean, Okay, let's pick this tree. It looks like it has a lot of information and see... Belgium. Birth in Belgium. Then living in Minnesota. He's 80 in 1880. Now, does he have a son named Hubert? He has a son named Hubertus Manderfeld, but he only lives when he's a child. Doesn't really seem like the right guy. Let's look at the... there's no source there. Let's look at the residence and the... at this one and at the census and see if it lists his occupation. He's birthplace Prussia. He would be 76. And here's Manderfeld. This Manderfeld is a farmer. And there's a woman keeping house. Henry and Hubert at home. I wonder if this is the boy that died. And then Hubert, the father, at home. Alright, I'm going to save him to my... Even though I feel like... Oh, I've not been granted permission. Okay, I'm trying to do the wrong thing, I think. Save. Save to a person in my tree. Okay, now I'm going to make a new person. Hubert Manderfeld. And I'll save that. And now what I'm going to write is I'm going to put his suffix as photographer, but I'm going to put a question mark after it. I'm not sure if that's him. Grapher, question mark. And then I do believe he's probably deceased. He was born in 1804. And then I'll return there. And I'm going to still add the note, add the story. And because I want to get through those 13 pictures, so Hubert Manderfeld, photographer, and I'm starting to get a little bit like, I've been doing this for a while, so I want to finish, mnhs.org, and now I'm just going to paste, and I don't know if that's really him or not, but that's the deal. 1880s again. Oops, 1880s. And save it. And okay, so this is the 4 people. And I really don't know what it says. It says Jansville, I believe. And I think, if we look back, I think that was one of the Jansville. So this was, it says aged folk. Bust single. It looks like the first name is Albert Stanky Jansville. Bust single old folk. That's what it looks like it says. So I'm going to do Albert Stanky. Albert Stanky. And then we're going to put him in, let's see how we spell Janesville. It's like Janesville. Janesville, Minnesota, right? And let's just do that and see what happens. Okay, and now I want to go to the family trees, and that's going to be the public member trees. Albert Stanky! I have your picture! Oh, that's awesome. So I did find someone. It looks like he's married to Amelia Pepper. Oh, that's very cool. So save this person to my tree. Create a new person. And it looks like he's there with his 2 girls. So Albert, his wife, and 2 girls. So we're going to add those folks to our, and it looks like he was born in Germany. Okay, fantastic. Okay, and there's a photo. Origin of the Stanky name changed to Stanky. Okay. I don't mean to make fun. People make fun of my name too. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun. I kind of am, but I'm not. It's all said with love. Okay, so if he's getting pictures taken with 2 girls, it's probably Ida and Anna, the 2 oldest girls. And there we go. I think I have his picture. And what's super cool that you can do is, okay, so let's just look at his family members. So now we have Amelia as his wife, and then we have, looks like 6 children, but I think I would guess the 2 girls are going to be Ida and Anna. And what's very cool is I can do member connect, and then there's just one connection. A lot of times there'll be more than one connection. Let's just go back to the historical records, and I'll just add a couple more facts. Sometimes that will give you more connections with other members. Okay, this is getting exciting because now we can be like, hey, I might have your great-grandpa's photo right here. That's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to go back to that member connect. And I just have one connection in my network. Shannon Murphy. Okay, so I'm going to click on her. And I think I am. Well, I'll click on his name in her. Let's see. Okay, this is the owner of that tree, Shannon. Okay, so I am going to contact her and say, photo of Albert Stanky, Janesville, MN. I recently purchased a bunch of old photos on eBay and think I have a photo of Albert Stanky and what looks to be his wife and 2 of his daughters. It was taken by each Vanderfeld in Janesville, Minnesota. So I'll just, I'm just going to a little smiley face with my name. Hi. I guess I should say hi. Hi, Shannon. Okay, so I'll go ahead and send that. My message was sent. Great. Okay. Now, so progress. Lovely, right? Next is the woman with the bun. And her photo was taken by F.E. Loomis in Stillwater, Minnesota. And I think we already had that person in here, right? So let's go back to, I'm just going to type in Loomis. Oops, I'm still in her tree. Whoops. So I'm going to merge her Albert Stinky with mine. Sorry, I seriously don't mean to offend. It's just a funny name. It's a funny name, right? It is. Some names are just funny. I have an ancestor whose name was Hairy Arms. I think that's funny. Like on his tombstone it says Hairy Arms. I think that's pretty funny. Let's see what Albert did. What his occupation was, just out of curiosity. We'll look at the census and see. So we can look, and I don't know if the 1880 census had the occupation of the dad. Oh, that's hard to read. Let's go to the next one. That one seems a little too hard to read. We'll do the next. We'll do the next one. Let's do the 1921. Is he still? Yeah, Albert. Okay. And we'll take a look at that 1920 census. And here we go. This is so amazing. Okay, so Edward is the head. That's not them. What is their last name? Oh, Stinky. Albert Stinky. Okay. After all that, I'm like, what's his name again? So he was 64 in 1920, and he was born in Germany, as was his parents and his wife and her parents. And it looks like they spoke German too. And his occupation is, oh, I have no idea. Bartender? And he works soft drink parlor, bartender at a soft drink parlor. Nice to meet you, Albert. I can see you. Interesting. Okay, next up was Loomis. Okay, did we save that? I think we did. Save to a person in my tree. I thought I already saved it. I think I did. I'm just going to click through on the other hints and just attach them. So I do my family history research a little fast and furious sometimes, but then I will go back and do some careful editing. But I kind of think about it like, you know, you throw a wide net in the beginning and then you start to weed out after you have a lot of information available. That's my strategy. And I'm not telling you it's the right one. I'm a beginner. I would still consider, I've been doing family history for a long time. Oh, check this out. I have Loomises. How did I not know that? Okay. So Captain John Loomis, relationship to me. Is there a relationship to me? Come on. Let's see. Joseph Loomis. No known relationship to you. But for some reason I have them in my tree. I'm not sure why. But wouldn't it be wild if Effie Loomis is related to all these folks? So like I said, I do cast kind of a wide net, and then I scale back. So let's go to the list of all people, and we are going to go to L for Loomis. I better type that in, L Loomis. Okay, so let's see if we can connect this photographer. Where did we go? Yeah, Franklin E. Effie Loomis. So we already had them in here. That's the lady with the bun. I'm looking at her picture. And so let's just go back to search records and see if anybody else. Or I could also look on, let's look at this time, the family tree. Because before we were looking at the directories. So this time I'm going to look, and I don't know if that photographer thing is going to throw everything off or not. I hope it doesn't, because I like using it. Okay, there's Frankie Loomis, and this one has parents, so I'm going to pick them. Oh, descendants of somebody Parsons of Massachusetts, so that's looking more promising. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to merge that with my Frank. and then it will let me compare and contrast. It looks like same date of birth. So I'm going to add the parents, and oops, Franklin. Sometimes you have to be careful when you're adding because they've got Franklin as the sibling of Franklin. We don't want that. That's too many Franklins. So I'm going to add his brothers and sisters, and then I'm going to work my way back till I connect up with some Loomises that are already in my tree, who are probably there because I thought I had a connection to them. So wouldn't it be awesome if I was related to Loomis and then I had photos that he took? That'd be pretty cool. So now all I really want to do is connect up the dad until I'm all the way back. So I don't need a ton of them. Oh, that's an interesting name. Wealthy Moore. Amos Loomis married Wealthy Moore. Wealthy Moore. What a great name. They had very interesting names back in the day. That's one of my favorites. Wealthy Moore. That was a woman. What a funny name. Like they've got a name like Mindwell, but then I was also, this isn't funny either, but I was looking at something and it said Stillborn, and I almost thought that was a name, and then I'm like, no, that's got to just mean stillborn, like the baby was stillborn. So I'm looking at the family tree. So I'm not, even though I'm super interested in Wealthy's name, I'm going to go back with Amos, and then I'm going to go to more options and merge with duplicate. See if he's already in there. He's not in there. So I'm going to go back and add his dad. And I'm just doing that with the Ancestry hints. And I'm going to the trees, and then we're getting, if the names are kind of matching up in the first couple, then I'm going to figure those are right. Now, do I know for sure that's right? No, not doing a super lot of research, but enough. And this is getting us back to Massachusetts. That makes sense. And I just want to kind of follow the family tree back up to the people that I have in the family tree and see. No, so I'm not. Oh, I think that was still Amos. So I'm going to do view family members, go to his dad again. Then the first thing I'm going to do is see if I've already got him in. I don't. So I'll go back another generation. Okay. Now we're going to go to Nathaniel Loomis and Tabitha Kingsley. That's another cool name. Tabitha. And so I really just am following the male line up because that's going to keep me with that Loomis name. That's why I keep following that one up. And so now we're back to 1767. And let's see, I'm going to do view family members. So I'm going back to Nathaniel Lewis, who was born in 1734. I'm going to say merge with duplicate. Nope, not yet. Keep going back. Historical records. I'm going to keep doing the Ancestry family tree. And you can start to see how this can be a time suck, right? Another Amos. Gosh, it was like 3 or 4 of them in a row. This one is married to Hannah Pomeroy. And I want to say her name sounds familiar to me. Pomeroy definitely sounds familiar to me. That is a name. I knew a girl in Maine, that last name, when I lived there, but I think I have that name in my family tree. So I'm going to save them to the tree. I'm not worried about all of the brothers and sisters because if I keep going back, I'm going to get to the dad, Okay, so I'm going to do that merge again. Nothing yet, so we'll go back another generation. Here we go. Now we're in Connecticut, in Hartford, Connecticut. Now we're at Stephen Loomis, married Esther Colt. Okay, those names don't sound familiar. Pomeroy does sound familiar. And so sometimes when I'm doing this and then I'll get to the wife's name that sounds really familiar, I'll switch over to her side and start following that one up. But then I still follow it up through her dad and his dad and still through the male line because of the last name. So now we're back to 1668, Stephen Loomis. Oh, I forgot to do the checking on the merge. Let's just go to his parents and then try it again. So now we're at Joseph Loomis married to Mary Chauncey. Chauncey sounds pretty familiar to me. And so if you get back into the 1600s, you're really talking about the Great Migration. And I think about 20,000 families came over at that time, which sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Let's go back to Joseph and merge with duplicate. There we go. There's Joseph. So I've connected, woohoo, I've connected that photographer to my family tree. Now, the only problem is there's no known relationship between me and Joseph, but somewhere, some way, I've got him in there for some reason. So, Mary Chauncey sounded familiar, so she's in my tree twice. So I'm just going to merge her. So I don't know the end of that story, but I'll be interested to see how I'm related to those Loomises. That's interesting. Okay, next. So we can ever finish this. Let me just see how we're doing on the time. Oops. Or if we're even still going, I can't really see. Come on.
Hi scrapbookers and family historians, so I'm back and I have, was the day that I've been working on all of these photos from Minnesota, and I photographed them. I did a blog post on my blog. I have a scrapbooking blog called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, and then I also have a family history blog that's related to my Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking blog. I think it's called Family History Stories by a Scrapbooker, or I actually don't remember. And so, anyways, so these photos, I feel like I've dealt with them. I've recorded them on Ancestry.com. I've blogged about them, and I'm not thinking that I really want to do anything more with them at this point. So I have these page protectors that are divided, and I know this is not going to work for every single photo that I have, but I think that this is going to be a really great solution for a lot of these photos in the meantime, because the other way I have of storing them is in this bowl, which is, you know, if a soda exploded in my room, that wouldn't be very safe. And then I also have a shoebox, which I think that's going to be the ones that I'm pulling from, and then once I've dealt with them, I'm going to put them in this album here. And so this way I can see both sides of the photos, which I think is going to be great. And then I can also just slip in a note here to categorize. Like these are going to be my Minnesota photos. And there are photos that I don't think I have a relation to. And so if I have 13 photos and I have 8 slots here. So some of these I'm going to double up, and what I think I'm going to do on those is double up. Both of these are Schlotman brothers, and they don't have any writing on the back, so those are a good candidate for doubling up. Because when you look at the back, for some of them, the back is going to be very interesting, but for those two, they weren't, so I can just put them in the same category there. And there's Loomis. This one is also very interesting on the back, so I'm going to just slide that one in. And this way, and again, I haven't decided if I am going to be keeping these photos or reselling them. I'm not sure. And so this is just a great way for me to store them while I'm deciding what to do with them. So I don't know if I'm going to get them all in here like I wanted. I don't think I am. These two are Loomis, and so I think, and Stridborg. So I'm going to put the two Loomis in together, and let's see if these ones fit up here. I'm not sure that they will. What I really think I want to do is kind of maybe sacrifice seeing some of the backs, because I would rather get them all onto one page so I can have them categorized. So yeah, let's sacrifice a couple of the backs. This one is an easy choice because there's nothing on the back of that. So that one's great. Let's see. But there is stuff on the back. See, I'm a little torn. Let's see if this fits up here. Now these page protectors you can get them from a lot of different manufacturers. Usually scrapbooking manufacturers, but they're going to work really well for your family history photos. So I'm just going to slide the two of these in here, and then I am just going to leave all of these photos in with this. I basically have this scrapbook album full of empty page protectors that are all different sizes, which is going to be helpful because a lot of my, not all antique photos are the same size. So you're going to need different size page protectors. So this is a system I think that's going to work really well. And these in particular have these little flaps that kind of hold everything in. So that's where they're going to land. What I think this now needs is a note that these are the folks from Minnesota. So I think that I will just use a simple post-it note and a pencil and write Minnesota. Whoops, that's, try that again. Minnesota. And it's mostly 1880s, I think. And where should I put that? I might just put it right here up at the top. And that's gonna, I think that'll stick just fine, and that way if I want to use the page protector for something else, I can do that. But that's where my the folks that I did for Minnesota will live for now, and I think I'm really going to like this system because I will also be able to see the backs of the photos. And so, and I have different, so this is another, that's that same arrangement, but as you can see, I have different arrangements. So this is like 4 6 by 6. So if I had photos of this size, well, that doesn't fit, but because that's going to be a 7. But I think that I will be able to incorporate maybe a lot of different size page protectors and photos. I just have a variety of sizes of page protectors, and I already have them because if you're watching this and you're a family historian, I already have this because I'm a scrapbooker, and this is a system that they're calling Project Life, but that's a copyrighted term that refers to a specific product line. But if you search for Project Life pocketed pages, that's what these are, and they're not all by Becky Higgins. Some of them are by Sea Line. These ones are by Platt Productions. We Are Memory Keepers makes them. A lot of different scrapbooking manufacturers make these pocketed pages that are going to work really well for your old family history photos. So thank you for watching, and please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would like to know about, or if you're related to any of these folks. I would love to know that too. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.